From our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Peter Murphy begins now.
A young man has lost his life in a single vehicle crash on Lalla Road near Lilydale in the state's north. He's Tasmania's 17th road fatality so far this year, prompting another plea from police to take care. Nick Kelly reports.
The 20-year-old man was driving home around 9:30 last night when he lost control on this bend and smashed into a tree. Passers-by noticed the wreck a short time later and phoned emergency services, but he couldn't be revived. As a local, police say he would have known this road quite well.
Small communities like this, it hits hard. It hits hard not only to the family, the friends, but the whole community. And we've got to remember, a lot of these first responders and volunteers live in those areas, so it has an effect on everyone. But our deepest sympathies go out to the family of the young man and his friends.
It's the 17th fatality on Tasmanian roads this year, on top of 182 serious injuries. Although that's slightly down on this time last year, police are pleading with drivers.
It's important police are stressing to everyone this time of the year, it's still winter, the roads are still treacherous, it's dark, it's rainy, so take care on the roads and drive to the conditions.
Police are still investigating the cause of the crash, but speed and the condition of the road last night will form a part of that investigation.
An elector poll into the location of the AFL High Performance Training Centre has returned a mixed result. 51.4% of poll participants have voted to keep the new facility entirely within the Rosny Parklands, 48% against. And more than 28,000 eligible voters took part in the poll, which was the result of a community opposition campaign. The results are non-binding, with Council, who will continue to develop a proposal with the state government. The Greens are putting pressure on the Tasmanian government to ramp up climate change action. As a new report reveals, Tasmania's greenhouse gas emissions have remained stagnant over the last 3 decades. The Greens calling bluff on the state's net zero status, calling the government ignorant.
It's very concerning that the government is now coming up to being a year overdue to produce its action plan for reducing emissions.
The state government says it is on track for net zero emissions or lower from 2030 and is committed to tackling the issue. After a successful 3 years on our waters, the Derwent Ferry is a popular mode of transport used by many Tasmanians. It's a scenic way to get to and from work, with the state government insisting plans to expand services to other routes could be on the horizon.
All hands on deck, celebrating a 3rd birthday for a service well supported by Tasmanians.
It's a nice way to kind of not think about work on the way to work and then to debrief on the way home as well. So yeah, rather than sitting in traffic and stuff, it's nice to be on the water.
We've seen over 360,000 passengers utilise this service.
New plans are underway to deliver more Derwent Ferry services, with potential routes venturing to Wilkinson's Point, Sandy Bay and Lindisfarne being floated by the state government.
The designs have to be good, because safety has to be a very important consideration aside from commuter accessibility.
It's an expansion commuters are keen to see.
We'd love to see it working more often during the day and during the week.
Residents, workers and businesses flocking to the service since it launched in 2021, also going some way to ease major congestion.
That's all those cars taken off the road, all those cars not accessing the Tasman Bridge.
The federal government's also splashed more than $20 million towards expanding services across Greater Hobart, together with the Tasmanian government.
It's an adventure. It's just such a simple way to connect with the water and remember, just remind myself how beautiful this city is. So yeah, it's relaxing.
But before more ferries hit our waters, further testing and assessment will take place. Rebecca Gadineris, 7 Tasmania News.
Labor is accusing the government of not seeking the appropriate advice when it comes to the future of Tasmania's only university. A proposed bill would require both houses of parliament to give permission for UTAS to sell or lease the land at its Sandy Bay campus. Shadow Minister for Education Sarah Lovell says the lack of advice, including from Treasury or the Justice Department, is irresponsible.
They did not put a draft bill out for broader consultation, and as a result, the university were not consulted at all. That is absolutely unacceptable.
It's high time that Dean Winter and the Labor Party took a cold shower and just calmed down a little bit.
The bill will be up for debate when Parliament returns next month. 24 new Tasmania Fire Service recruits have graduated, bolstering the state's efforts against the upcoming fire season. The group forming a strong bond, undergoing 15 weeks of intense training, and now say they are ready to tackle any challenge that comes their way.
As loved ones watch on, Tasmania Fire Service's newest recruits march in, one by one making the transition from trainee to firefighter.
It's actually quite surreal. It was at the start it felt like it was never going to end, and now these last few weeks it's felt like it's gone really fast, so phenomenal to finally be there.
It's a relief to finally get through it. It's been a tough and challenging journey.
It's not hard to spot just how close the newest recruits are, summed up perfectly by the jointly awarded ducks of the group.
A firefighter by themselves is no different to any other person, and it's not until we're in a crew of four that we are actually capable of doing the job we do.
Everyone supported everyone throughout the entire training course, and we stand together as one at the end.
Oh, they're my new brothers and sisters, to be honest.
Today's graduation, the last time the group will be all together, with 8 heading to Launceston and 16 remaining in Hobart.
We all got along so well and spent so much time together, and now we're going our separate ways, so it's also a little bit of, something coming to an end.
As Tasmania nears the end of a dry winter, the new recruits are a welcomed addition ahead of the fire season.
These firefighters will attend brigades where they'll protect the urban interface and potentially deploy across the state, nationally and internationally as well.
They're special people, they're driven to serve their community, and they put themselves in harm's way to keep the rest of us safe.
Ready to take on any challenge that comes their way.
It's a privilege to join the service, and I'm looking forward to contributing for many more years to come.
Lily Thompson, 7 Tasmania News.
After standing proudly in Launceston City Park for over 130 years, the Jubilee drinking fountain is midway through being restored. Dismantling it into 100 pieces, the staff at Glasgow Engineering have been painstakingly repairing corrosion and removing 15 layers of paint by hand.
It's a really delicate process as we go through dealing with something that's over 130 years old.
Queen Victoria Drinking Fountain is a really special item which talks to a period in Launceston's history which was really innovative, really visionary. It looked at the creation of the Albert Hall, the creation of the Duck Reach Power Station.
The fountain was commissioned for Queen Victoria's Golden Jubilee, but finally installed in time for the Diamond Jubilee a decade later. It should be back to its former glory in City Park by early next year. The gateway to the west is being given a $100 million upgrade. More lanes along the Lyell Highway between Granton and New Norfolk will be added, with the addition of new safety barriers and signposts.
10,500 cars use this road every day. It's very busy for the Derwent Valley, for residential households, for industry and the visitor economy.
Planning and consultation is expected to get underway in the coming months. An aged care home is an unusual place to find love, but for one happy couple, it was the perfect Cupid's playground, giving them a second shot. After a chance meeting in the dining room and a whirlwind romance, the Northwest pair tied the knot in an emotional ceremony.
Sealing their love with a kiss. Bev and Mark saying "I do" in a wedding ceremony like no other.
It's fantastic. I couldn't get over it.
When the newlyweds met a few months ago, it was love at first sight, and they've been inseparable ever since.
Just instant. I think it was a two-way thing, actually. Bev made the first move, actually. Mark asked me to marry him, and I said yes, and that was it. She never hesitated.
After both losing their previous partners, finding love at the nursing home in their late 80s was the last thing on their minds.
After 56 years, never entered my head. I didn't want anyone else.
Today's nuptials are first for the facility. One care given just weeks to plan and perfect the celebration of the year.
So excited, everyone's just so happy to be part of it, and we're absolutely honoured to be able to host this for them.
Straight from a fairy tale, the happy couple's big day had it all. From a bridal entrance taking the groom's breath away,
I had a tear in my eye,
to a sing-along fit for everlasting love.
You're my best friend.
While the wedding bells are still ringing, the attention now turns to the honeymoon and beyond.
Being together for the rest of our lives. Yeah, sharing, with each other.
A love story for the ages. Victoria Risto, 7 Tasmania News.
and all the best to them. Local businesses are being encouraged to get behind the Turn Down the Lights, Turn on the Stars initiative. That's aiming to reduce light pollution and unleash Tasmania's night sky, with stargazers urged to embrace the winter chill and look above.
We've had a strategic push on astrotourism and dark skies for a while. It's one of our competitive advantages in Tasmania.
We'll be turning off the lights of the iconic West Point Tower at 9 o'clock on Sunday night, to celebrate.
Many businesses have already signed up to embrace the magic of the night over the next week. Aspiring scientists can quite literally dive into Antarctic research as the Beaker Street Festival takes shape in Hobart, with plunge pools and saunas part of the 8th edition. The event aims to inspire younger Tasmanians to follow STEM pathways.
We are Australia's gateway to Antarctica. We have so many Antarctic researchers, and we're really allowing the public to connect with them.
STEM around the world, including in Australia, has a diversity challenge, and it's important that we address that.
The festivities coincide with National Science Week and runs until August 13.
After standout seasons, 2 Tassie cricketers are heading overseas. Riverside's Aidan O'Connor getting the call up alongside Kingborough's Zach Curtin. They'll tour India later in the summer as part of the Under-19 Australian squad. Coming up against second place South Hobart of the Women's Super League isn't a worry for Launceston United tomorrow, with a laser focus on keeping their spot in the top 4.
Really just trying to work on what we can control and looking ahead rather than getting too bogged down in what game's coming or what the opponent is, just really trying to work on our game.
While also needing to hang on to their spot in the top 4, Kingborough's men's coach is already looking ahead to next year.
We've been close, but not quite there. So I think built well on the traction we got last season, but still giving ourselves great opportunities, but not quite taking them this season.
They play Clarence later tonight. Despite 2 podium finishes here, David Reynolds has never won a race in Tasmania, but he plans to fix that next week at Symmons Plains. It's a strategically important event for him as a lead-in to the Enduro season. After the Tassie Super Sprint, drivers head to Sandown before the Bathurst 1000.
That's on the forefront of everyone's mind. How can we win Bathurst? We're not in the championship. How can we win Bathurst? So, we're all pointing arrows towards that one big race.
Reynolds is also chasing his first podium since switching teams this year. His best result so far is 4th. Yeah, very excited to see those cars getting around their Murph, but I can already feel my eardrums getting a bit numb.
Well, mate, take the weekend off and stay quiet. Thanks for that. Well, she's been enjoying the spotlight of the weather set. She's back next with the forecast. Kaya Wicks.
Good evening. Hobart 16 today, 15 for both Launceston and Burnie, and 14 for Devonport. We saw the state's high recorded at Friendly Beaches with 17, 16 for Grove, St Helens and Bushy Park. The Islands of Smithton 15, Low Head and Strawn 14, and double digits for Lyweni. The satellite image shows scattered cloud about some parts of the state as a band of high-level cloud moved over Tasmania from the west, bringing some isolated showers. That band pushed across the southeast of the country as cloud extends to parts of the eastern seaboard, areas of southern WA, SA and the tropics. Tomorrow, a ridge of high pressure persisting over the majority of southern states will direct a westerly flow over Tasmania. West to northwesterly winds 15 to 25 knots, increasing up to 30 knots about the south, with westerly swells at 4 metres. Tomorrow, we have a strong wind warning for coastal waters between Tasman Island to Southeast Cape. A partly cloudy day for Hobart tomorrow, 17, 13 in showers for Maydena, 15 and cloudy also in Oatlands. Possible showers in Launceston, 17, much the same in Devonport, 15, 9 degrees the high for Lyweni. A bit of cloud hanging around in Burnie, 15, showery for Strawn, 14, 15 and showers also for Marrawar. Partly cloudy towards the east, but remaining mild with 17 degrees for St Helens, Swansea and Orford. Forecast now for Sunday, light showers about the west and far south, mostly fine elsewhere. Monday, fine and sunny for most parts of the state after a foggy morning in the north. And on Tuesday, another foggy start for the north, followed by showers developing about the north and the west. Here's what's happening across the nation tomorrow. Adelaide, Canberra and Melbourne all sharing an expected top of 17 degrees, 23 and partly cloudy in Brisbane, and a fine and sunny 24 for Perth. Hobart and Launceston sharing a top right now of 10 degrees. Mostly cloudy, however, Devonport 11. And all of us here at 7 Tasmania wish all the competitors the very best of luck for the Tasmanian Open Dance Sport Championships tomorrow, Murph.
Yes, Kai, I hope it doesn't rain on them. That's all our news for now. Thanks for joining us. I'll be back later for updates. Have a great weekend. We'll leave you with Mark and Bev and their wonderful nuptials today.